Boeing executives continue to appear in interviews with the media as the company remains in the spotlight for incidents involving the 737-9. In today's recap, I'll be taking a look at some of the latest interviews, criticism from the public, and analysts' view on the situation. Boeing's president and CEO, David Calhoun, addressed employees during a meeting that ushered a key focus on the importance of safety and how every detail in the production and delivery process matters. The CEO fought back a lot of emotion during the conference from what we were able to see, where he highlighted that those in the room and also joining the webcast had kids and family that could have been aboard the Alaska Airlines flight. Compliments were offered to the Alaska Air team and crew who safely got the airplane on the ground during a pretty turbulent time. He noted that the crews on board trained their entire life for such a moment, and they executed it flawlessly, but he hoped that no one ever has to go through something like this in their career in the air. The grounding of the Boeing 737-9 by Alaska Airlines is something else that was highlighted by the CEO, who said their actions prevented potentially another accident or another moment occurring. Boeing says it is approaching the incident as its number one priority, and also saying that it was a mistake on their part and acknowledging it. But in terms of actually what was a mistake, they're not really saying this, but they do want to offer 100% transparency every step of the way by working with the NTSB, the FAA, and all customers. You can then see how maybe there's a little bit of confusion on the statement of transparency if we're a bit unaware of what the mistake is. Could this relate to quality control? Who knows? We are just making assumptions based on what they've said. The American plane maker believes that customers will once more have confidence in the Boeing product. However, this will take time and will be achieved through their actions, willingness to work directly, transparency, and an overall adherence to safety and quality control. A quality escape is something I want to dive into now. When speaking with CNBC, David Calhoun ushered the words quality escape on numerous occasions, however fell short on explaining what this referred to when pressed. Essentially, a quality escape, from what I can gather, relates directly back to something that wasn't, say, installed, built, or repaired to a satisfactory standard. This term is said to have been used not just at Boeing internally, but also at many other companies worldwide for decades. This could even be for the company you potentially work. These comments from the CEO are being taken as it was indeed a quality error that led to the incident aboard the Alaska Airlines 737-9. Alongside further loose bolts being found on parked Boeing jets. From an onlooker's perspective, a quality escape can be viewed as a bit of a technical term to maybe get around some of the harrowing claims that the manufacturer focused strictly on pinching pennies rather than being safe. When questioned on why the 737 MAX continues to see issues and can't seem to get away in a safe manner, the CEO noted that this incident occurred on a discrete set of airplanes and a plug that also impacts specific aircraft only. I do want to dive a little bit more into the 737 MAX and the idea of it having another problem a little bit later in this recap, if you will. Boeing's comments surrounding quality escape and overall quality assurance troubles have left them in more spotlight than ever before. This was a manufacturer onlookers knew had a problem and believed it was being rectified internally. This is something also the company was broadcasting from the inside out. But now these developments take Boeing back to square one, some 4 years down the line. The chase for profits within the company is what many have highlighted as being a bit of a deterrence. Still, realistically, there are also some that would argue to you that it is a company that has been on a steady ship downward since a merger occurred with McDonnell Douglas, where these same people would say Boeing would lose the charm it once had throughout the latter stages of the 1900s. Additionally, there has been a lot of focus on the wordplay used by the CEO, such as quality escape. This wordplay, while don't get me wrong, a completely useful term and something that definitely is used internally, can equally be viewed as a bit of a means to try and not tell it how it is. Some of the language I've seen in terms of saying it how it is has way too much profanity for this channel, but I think you know what I mean. This stance of not telling it how it is to the public can be backed up by several onlookers' comments about how Calhoun acted during the interview when questioned. He painted quite a figure that was unsure and worried. A significant part of the public backlash is directed towards Boeing, but more so I'd argue even the 737 MAX program, which has been in the spotlight, as we know, for the wrong reasons. However, quality assurance difficulties can ultimately impact any aircraft, even brand new ones, and yes, that's been proven with the MAX. Quality assurances thus don't necessarily relate to an error with the plane in question itself, but instead the practices conducted on that plane during production. The element of loose bolts found on the 737-9 can ultimately happen on any other aircraft right around the globe, whether it's Comac, Airbus, Boeing, or another manufacturer. I'm not saying it will be the same bolts in the same place, as what Boeing says is correct. This is an isolated incident. You get where I'm going. As a result, for those that have analysed Boeing through the years, especially following the 737 MAX crisis in the late 2010s, they'd go on to argue to you that how the plane maker builds its planes is highly questionable if these are going to be the end results. What was really interesting was browsing forums and also social media to see what industry analysts were saying, and really the general highlighting of concerns around the way Boeing produces its planes. One of the perfect questions that I saw was if Boeing can't produce an industry dinosaur, as it's referred to in a bit of a fun way, the 737 family, which we know has been around for some time, how can they adequately produce a clean sheet design that in theory would require a lot more focus and a lot more new practices? Where I believe these analysts are going with that is the amount of work required to go into tightening a bolt for a MAX that they should be very familiar with is high, don't get me wrong, but imagine if that was for a clean sheet. This certainly follows on with the theme that people have questioned the lack of innovation at the American plane maker in recent times, and in the MAX's case, looking to extend the 737's life as fast and as cheaply as possible to compete with Airbus and boost profits while keeping development costs on the low. So, to conclude, Boeing's been in the spotlight for the past week for several reasons. Much of the focus has, yes, resided on the 737 MAX, which appears for the wrong reasons again, but it really should highlight the further deep-rooted quality assurance problems within the plane maker. The manufacturer says it'll learn once more from this experience and continue with its mission of producing safe planes. However, with each incident, those who still have faith in the company begin to drop off like flies. Boeing has a long way to go to restore faith in the public and its customers. As highlighted by its CEO, it believes that its response to this incident will be crucial in shaping how it moves forward. While maybe this is not the first time we've heard such a thing, it is the least we can get, and I think the perfect place to leave it on for today. If you have any thoughts, let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for your support. I'll see you next time. Like I said, hopefully for just regular aviation updates, but we'll see what unfolds over the next 24 hours or so.
And we'll fly.